Let me tell y'all. We have not sat down to do a video since last month. It's November something. The 9th something. Chaos has ensued. Let me tell you that. We did an investigation. If you haven't seen it, it's the video before this. Go check it out. There is an investigations playlist. There's not very many videos on there because we're just starting, but you guys have been asking. We delivered. If you want to see it, go watch. It was crazy. A lot of unexpected things happened.
Crazy time.
And also, it was supposed to go up on Halloween. And you know why it didn't? 2 days before Halloween, my laptop, my very old MacBook stopped working. The screen would not turn on. I literally opened it. I opened it and the screen turned on like this, and then it turned right back off and it would not turn back on. I was in tears. I was crying. I was like, oh my God, I am so close to being done with this video and it's gone. The video wasn't gone, but the computer was gone. So we take it to the Geek Squad and I'm like in tears. What?
I don't know, it's just funny. We took it to the Geek Squad.
Figured out that it was just the screen, that all the internal stuff, I don't know how computers work, all the good stuff that makes it work still works really good. I got this laptop when I turned 18. That was 8 years ago.
We're fucking old.
I know. They determined that it was fixable, and we were like, can you fix it? And they were like, no. They were like, we send our things away, and they have Apple considers this MacBook vintage.
It's a dinosaur.
Apparently. It's only 8 years old and it still works perfectly fine. And I'm not gonna buy a new one.
That's how Apple does things though. They're like,
yeah.
Oh, you need the newest one we have.
Like this phone, I'm pretty sure I've had this since like 2018, 2019. I just don't see the point in getting something new when what you have still works. I don't have that kind of money, man. They were like, well, you could take it to a third party and they would be able to fix it. And we were like, okay, who the hell is that? Like, tell me who to call right now. And they were like, Fix My Gadget. So we go to Fix My Gadget, and the guy was like, he did his little testy tests, and he was like, yeah, it's the screen. It can be done in a few days to a week. And we were like, okay, take the credit card. Here you go. Call us when it's done. And so we were in Rockford on Tuesday, and they called and they were like, hey, it's fixed. It's ready to be picked up. And we were like, yes. We picked it up. Here it is. Everything's a little bit delayed.
But everything's fine.
Everything is fine now. But this video...
This video
doesn't exist. You're not here right now.
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
You guys liked the first video in this series so much that here we are with a new one. I literally got this recommendation within 10 minutes of that video being posted, so here we are. The series is called Local Mysteries of the Unknown. If you want to go see the first video and you haven't, go watch it. I forget what it's about. What the fuck was it about?
The asylum.
Tinley Park.
Yeah. It
was about Tinley Park Mental Health Center. So if you want to go see that, learn a little bit of history, go for it. So now we have another one. If you have any local mysteries, local oddities, and you want us to talk about it, comment, email me, send me a Snapchat. I don't know. If you have me on Snapchat, just send me a Snapchat. This is the abandoned Joliet Road, also known as Route 66. To begin this video, we have to start with a little bit of history of what Route 66 is. And what is it, you ask? It's a road. It is a road that stretches 2,400 miles across 2/3 of the country. So the whole US of the A. 2/3. I cannot fathom living in like Connecticut or Delaware and being able to just drive to a different state within like 2 hours.
Yeah, Illinois is... We're not real wide, but we're real long. I've said this multiple times, but it's just because if you ever had to drive from up here in Illinois to down. It takes forever.
I think it takes like 6 to 7 hours. So I cannot fathom driving 3 hours and being 2 states over. Like, how do y'all do it? I don't get it. Route 66 starts at the shores of Lake Michigan, goes through Illinois, the Missouri Ozarks, Kansas mining towns, Oklahoma, Texas ranches, New Mexico, Arizona, the Mojave Desert, and ends at the metropolis of LA. That's a lot. Going from Lake Michigan all the way to the Pacific, that's a
All
lot.
the way to the Pacific.
Many historic buildings sit on the side of this road. This road began in 1926 when the Bureau of Public Roads launched the nation's first federal highway system. Route 66 quickly became popular to travel on because of the scenery and how quick it was. Back then, you were taking gravel roads and it probably took a long time.
And plus, when you're not on like a highway or something, you're all over the place. Like, I gotta turn here and I gotta go here and I gotta stop and I gotta go here and then. So this would have been, they would have been able to get on and just go and go and go.
The Highway Association said it's the shortest, best, and most scenic route from Chicago through St. Louis to Los Angeles. Due to the high traffic, merchants and towns of all sizes look to the highway as an opportunity to attract new customers and make more money. Because you're literally getting a high trafficked road. So what are you going to do? You're going to set up shop on the side of that road. You know, tourists, people just moving, traveling out for their Sunday stroll, whatever. They're gonna see your shop and they're gonna be like, hey, that looks appealing, let's stop there. The most popular businesses that started setting up on there was fuel, lodging, and food. And you still see a lot of that today, you know, especially...
It's fairly typical for...
Yeah, especially like with the interstate exits and stuff, like you always see the blue signs, fuel, lodging, food. During the Great Depression, the highway became even more popular due to people leaving their homes. And you would literally think the exact opposite. But as people were being forced to leave their homes and go somewhere else, they were like, let's get on Route 66. Let's go. I said route. Is it route or route?
Well, I usually say route, but I always say Route 66 because that's what everybody calls it. So I really don't think it matters. I also think it's a
Area
yeah
thing.
Like, some people say route, some people say route. I don't think it matters that much.
Don't come at us. During World War II, the traffic decreased from rationing, but was used for military transportation, and motels saw an increase in occupancy due to families of servicemen staying close to the military bases. So back in World War II, you know, you had the food rationing, the fuel rationing. You basically had to ration everything in your life. People couldn't travel as much because you could only get so much gas. You could only do so much. After the war ended and all of the travel restrictions were lifted, automobiles skyrocketed over the next 10 years. This is when that big economic boom happened, and everyone who could afford a car was buying one. In 1955, 52.1 million cars were registered in America. So that's a lot of people who are vacationing because they didn't get to during World War II. They're going to see family members, or they're just traveling to travel because they want to.
Just living it up.
Yeah, like, go for it. I don't have a car.
Me neither.
In 1956, President Eisenhower supported the passage of a law to construct a new system of high-speed, limited access, 4-lane divided highways, which is interstates that you see today. Over the next 3 decades, 5 new interstates, I-55, I-44, I-40, I-15, and I-10 replaced Route 66. This way of travel was so much faster, so much easier to get on. You could just hop on and go. After the road's decommissioning, members of public and private organizations and state and federal agencies who understood the highway's historical significance started campaigns to preserve and commemorate the road. So they were like, we can't let this road go to waste. Like, this is something special. In 1990, the U.S. Congress passed Public Law 102-400, the Route 66 Study Act of 1990, recognizing that Route 66 had become a symbol of the American people's heritage, of travel, and their legacy of seeking a better life. In 2008, the World Monuments Fund listed Route 66 on the watch list of 100 most endangered sites. With all of that history going on, Now we're going to get into one little part of Route 66 that I didn't even know existed. I've never been on Route 66. My mom was like, what are you guys talking about today? And I was like, Route 66. And she was like, have you ever been on it? And I was like, no. And she was like, well, shut the fuck up.
Even though Route 66 is a historical road that people have done their best to preserve, there are parts of the road that haven't made it through the test of time.
Boo. And that's so weird because, like, they passed that act. So, like, why...
Yeah, there are, like, chunks of it in places where it's not drivable, but they just left a chunk. Much of the route is drivable except for a few sections, especially in Illinois. Of course, we're the ones that...
Of course, because we have the worst roads, let me tell you. It's ridiculous.
But going to, like, any bigger town in this state right now, construction, like heavy road construction. One of the first roadblocks would be just outside of Chicago. Shocker. This road is now known as Joliet Road in McCook, Illinois. It is closed between 55th Street and East Avenue. I always find that weird. Side note.
What?
When towns have, like, 1st Avenue, 5th
Oh,
Avenue, 12th Avenue, East Street, West Road. Like, I'm not a person that's good at knowing the names of roads. And so people are like, oh, where's it at? I don't know. It's been closed for over 2 decades.
That's a long time.
The land on the side of the road that the quarry would eventually take over was part of Stinson Airport in the beginning of Route 66. This dated back before 1930. In 1958, the airport was forced to close because of the quarrying on the south side of the road. This left both sides of Joliet Road exposed. In 1998, cracks began developing in the roadway. This caused the pavement to start buckling.
I feel like having a quarry right by a road,
Just right up on it.
not a good idea.
IDOT was forced to close the road. Traffic had to detour. On either side of the roadbed, Vulcan Materials Company owned the land and mined the area. Some of the places were mined hundreds of feet deep, which caused the land under the road to cave in. Yeah, shocker.
You gotta get your limestone, I guess.
You didn't know that was gonna happen? I'm confused. Like, you took all the material out from under the road. Where's the road gonna go? The quarry used explosives to dislodge limestone.
I should not do that close to a road.
They said, this is how we're gonna do this.
Like, when you make things explode, you just never know how it's gonna turn out.
The cost to rebuild this section of the road would have cost $45 million and might not have been a permanent solution. Because I guess they're just gonna keep exploding underneath the road.
Yeah, like, if they're... It's sad, but if they're gonna keep doing it, and you don't want to spend that much money for something that might only last, like, another 40 years...
IDOT decided to upgrade 55th Street and East Avenue and have traffic permanently detour Route 66. Today the road is still there, the mine fully operational on either side. Vulcan paid a $12 million settlement after a 12-year legal battle and still didn't admit fault in the road closing.
I think it was just a little bit your fault, buddy.
They said, no.
I think it was a little bit your fault.
I didn't do it. In 2013, an explosion occurred and it caused inspectors to try to find out what actually happened. The quarry said the 3.2 tremor was just a coincidence and occurred several minutes after they blew up the rock wall. One resident said the blast cracked her walls and she thought that her house was going to collapse. Today, the road is off limits and still owned by Vulcan.
But that was episode 2 of Local Mysteries of the Unknown. Didn't know any of that, and now I know more, and that's why I do this today, Junior. Is to learn more, and I hope you know a little bit more now. And if give us something from outside of Illinois, like...
Yeah, we've been here a long time.
Yeah, give us something new. Tell us something local and odd in your area, so we can look it up and talk about it.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be our area.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be.
It can be your area as well.
Give us something else. And if you liked this video, like and comment, subscribe. We have other playlists on the channel that you can check out. We got cemetery videos, we got cults, we have haunted places, we got haunted counties, we have us being stupid, we got an investigation. You can go and look at all of it. It's all on the playlist, so just go watch and subscribe, and we will see you next time. Hopefully nothing else happens catastrophic in our lives, and goodbye!
Rock on, freaking bro.